Okay, so this is attempt like 3 or 4 of making this video. Um, so none of my devices like will let me do it. So here we are, not the best photo quality, but I wanted to share some of my thoughts for the first week here and what that has first few weeks here and what that's looked like. What I've learned, what I would have done differently, and yeah, share that information with you. So if you're traveling overseas, I would not wait to the last minute to do everything. I am a planning procrastinator. So I plan and then I procrastinate to the last minute. And so we had a long list of things that people had told us that we should do, and I just didn't get to all of them. And so I want to give some of those things to you now. So we're a family of 6 that came. We're actually a family of 8, but 6 that are overseas together, and 2 older kids that are home. And just all the logistics of paperwork and doctor's appointments and all these things that had to happen in the last few months. And we left in January. And so we had holidays that like made it hard to get things done, and New Year's where like, everyone is trying to get in doctor's appointments at the end of, a year, and just it wasn't the best timing. It was kind of difficult. So I would not suggest moving in January. It's harder. Like the day we left, the day after a holiday that I didn't realize. And so we couldn't do like last minute banking and last minute things that we would have done on that Monday because of the holiday. So it just made it difficult. But I will say the first week here, just give yourself a lot of grace for jet lag. So we've done a lot of trips, we've gone a lot of places, but we normally are only somewhere for about 11 days to 14 days. And so we don't have time for jet lag. We have to, get off the ground, like hit the ground running and doing things and like push ourselves. And that was a little different here, where we had time. And so it was a 13-hour, we're 13 hours ahead. So it wasn't a little time difference. It was a big time difference, switching our days from nights. And so a lot of grace, taking naps, but not at the beginning. It's, do all the things that they tell you to do with jet lag and give yourself grace. And so we showed up like at 5:45 a.m. on a Friday, and we gave ourselves this weekend. And then I hit the ground running on Monday. The kids went back to homeschooling. I went to the clinic, and it was fine. It's just looking back, when you're up all night or you're at a really long birth, if you're a birth worker, and you're so exhausted and you don't even realize until like days later how exhausted you were and how you're running on fumes. That's really how it was the first week, and everything's just extra irritating when you're like exhausted and tired. And so a good week, it took a good week for everyone to kind of get into the time zone. And with kids waking up in the middle of the night multiple times, it took a while. So grace there. And then the second week, I was super sick. I've never been sick internationally, and so that was really hard for me to not have the comforts of home and the things that I'm used to having. So give yourself grace with that too. So it took like a good 4 solid days to like get over high fever and feel more functional, and then a few more days to like really want to leave the apartment. And then it's been 2 weeks, and I finally feel like my gut is getting back to normal. It just extreme sickness for me. And my sweet friend Gabriella, she asked me, she said, like, what do you need? Like, what do you not have? What would be helpful to you? And I was like, yes, I could use electrolytes. And yes, I could use a probiotic. I had a lot of things. They were both on my list of like, I should go buy these things. And last minute, because I'd run out of probiotics, and I love liquid IV, and I just didn't buy those things because they're just not the cheapest things. And we had all these other little things to buy. And so I regret not buying those things, but she sent them to me via Amazon. So we are in Manila. So we do have like a physical address at this facility where we can get certain things, and certain things we can and certain things we can't. So she was able to send those to me, and I haven't looked those up, but I hope that they were easy to send. But for instance, our daughter wants Pop-Tarts. She really, really wants Pop-Tarts. We bought someone bought her Pop-Tarts right before we left, and then they got left in the vehicle and they didn't get into the check bags. And so she's been craving Pop-Tarts. And so we looked them up on Amazon, and you can get them, but a normal box was like $11.75. And then it was $75 for shipping and handling. So if you're going to get like Western food, the shipping and handling is crazy. There was something else I looked up, and it was $125 to ship. So we did not get, needless to say, we did not get Pop-Tarts. So if anybody wants to send her Pop-Tarts, you can do like these big boxes that come in different sizes, and they ship via sea, and they take about 3 months. So we do have one of those that we will be packing soon, and I will make sure there's Pop-Tarts. But so those things are harder to get, like Western food, but there are things that I was able to get here. So we have, where we're staying, we get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast is usually some form of eggs. There's like 3 different options, and fruit. And then lunch is always rice and some kind of meat and a Filipino meal. And then dinner is usually more Western. So right now we have a team of 22 that just arrived from California, like teens. So there's always like teams, yeah, coming and going. In a few weeks, it'll be completely full. And then in a few weeks after that, we said 111 people. So it kind of varies. But dinner tonight was chicken pot pie. Last night was spaghetti, not quite like we're used to. It's sweeter here, but the dinners are usually something that we like, but sometimes we just get really sick and tired of eggs and rice. And so it's nice to have some things that are familiar. So I did order myself protein shake, which is really hard to find here, but I was able to find something that did cost me $75 shipping. And so that's really helpful for me because it gives me the extra protein that I need, and I can take it and run to births. And that's what I normally would do in America anyways. And so I really seriously considered bringing mine, and I was told to bring it because it's hard to get here, but it was, protein shakes are big and I didn't want it to spill, and I just, we didn't have room for it. So seeing what you have available on the other end is helpful to know what to bring. And so I did bring vitamins, and I did bring like medicine and things like that. But I wish I could have brought some more. I should have brought some more. The other thing that people had suggested that was on my list that I never got to, because it just felt like an additional expense, was command strips. So everything here is cinder block, as you can kind of see, and skim coated. And so all the walls are smooth. Our apartment has 2 rooms, and the main room, which is our master bedroom, which the front door walks into and the bathroom walks into, is like periwinkle purple. And we have videos about, I think we have videos, or at least clips of what our room looks like in week 1, if you want to check that out. And then the kids' room is like this like blue teal green, and the bathroom's like purple and yellow cream. And so all the walls are smooth, and everyone said get command strips. I wish we'd have done that, so I could have gotten some hooks to hang towels and some command strips to hang photos and things that are familiar. And so once we get to where we're permanently going, I will figure that out, have them ship them to us, or see if I can get them on Amazon. It is really the little things that feel like home. So when I talk to my doula clients, I would tell them, like, if you're going to the hospital or even a birth center, take your favorite robe, take your favorite slippers, take, a family picture, whatever's going to help you feel like home, your favorite pillow, your favorite blanket, things that just smell like home, feel like home. And the same thing is true traveling here. And so my kids all brought like kind of like thin blankets, but they needed that familiar. And I brought my winter slippers, and they're like ankle high, comfy, squishy, gray, cozy slippers, which is ridiculous here because it's like always like high humidity and like 100 degrees. But in our room with air conditioning or aircon and a fan, they're cozy. And it feels like home. And we have concrete floors here, or we have wood floors. And so it's just nice to have like house slippers that, are familiar. And so packing those things is really helpful. And again, I will have my family send photos and things like that once we get to a permanent location to just make it feel more like home. And so finding those things that are familiar is really helpful because you get decision fatigue and physical exhaustion from just like trying to figure everything out. So you have to figure out where to get food. You have to figure out, even though we get food provided, we still need a few things for like peanut butter and jelly, or juice for our daughter, and who's little, and and then figuring that out. So like juice in America, we like water down 50% or more. Here it's already like really watered down. And so if we water it down, then it just tastes really, really bad. And so she wouldn't drink it. So finally I took her sippy cup, and I was like, oh yeah, it's because this is just not right at all. And so everything here tastes different. So that's why the strawberry Look What I Be was amazing to me because it was the first thing I found that tasted right, tasted normal to me. So they have Pepsi here, Coke here, things like that. And everything that's like processed has different sugars than what we're used to in America. Nothing's as sweet. I would describe it as drinking like a diet soda, you know, like at the end you have that like diet taste that lingers. Well, here it's the whole thing. So there's no like end diet taste. It's like kind of the diet taste all the way through. And so getting used to like different tastes takes some time. And and when you're super sick, it's hard to not have like Sprite, for instance. It just tastes like Sprite, you know, or here they have Sky Flakes instead of like saltine crackers, which I'm getting used to and they're good in like soup, but they're just not like they don't taste the same, you know? And so you just have to, everything you have to learn different and everything you have to learn to taste different. And that can be really hard. And so we have done a few things over the weekend. We made the mistake, which again, we were told and we knew better, but I had a bunch of bursts, like 5 bursts back to back. Actually, there was 4 bursts back to back. And then we went to the city. And then we came back. And as soon as we got out of the Grab or, you know, like an Uber, I got called to the next burst. And so, but it was really nice. So they told us it was like 11 kilometers, so less than 10 miles to this mall. And it was not the closest mall, but it was this specific mall that we wanted to go to. And it took over an hour to get there. And then after we were done, it took about an hour and 45 minutes to get back because of traffic. So we're talking less than 10 miles and in almost 2 hours. And yeah, so you have to like really plan. And again, we knew better than to go on a Saturday, but it was just how it worked out where we had the ability to do that. And we wanted to go somewhere that had some things that were familiar. We got some food that was familiar and we had a good time. And so, but you need to make it worthwhile. So if you're going to spend 2 to 3 hours in the car to drive 11 kilometers, make sure that where you're going on the other end makes sense. So everything just takes longer. Everything takes planning. So it's just a lot of decisions to try to figure out like where to buy this, where to eat this, can I drink that? Do I need toilet paper? You always bring your own water, you always bring your own toilet paper, and you always kind of be prepared for, you know, whatever. And that just takes a little getting used to. We also don't have a vehicle here. So we do have teams and drivers that can take us places during like normal kind of business hours if they're not busy with other teams. But there's different outreaches and different things. So it's kind of limited. They do have trikes, which in some of our videos, you can see us riding the trikes, which is fairly inexpensive, but most of them only go from point A to point B. And then like point B to point C. And you can't necessarily just like say, hey, can you take me to this place? And so you can get close to a place and then walk, you know, the rest of it or whatever. And then they do have Grab, which is like their Uber. And we took that back from the city, which was hard to get because nobody wanted to drive to the middle of nowhere. And so the rate kept going up and up and up, and everyone kept canceling. And finally, we found a sweet guy who was willing to make the drive because, again, it took forever to go very far. And so just trying to learn all those new things it's a lot. And it's a lot to take in for us and our kids. And but you just take it kind of day by day, decision by decision. Learn a little bit each day of like where, like we're still looking for like Western pizza. So they have like Filipino pizza, but we were told it's like very different. And so I've seen it, but I haven't got to try it. So I don't know if it's very different. They don't have a lot of dairy here. So dairy is not like super easy to get. And it's not inexpensive. And so their pizzas don't have like a lot of cheese and things like that. And so we're trying to just figure out some of those things that make a big difference to feel somewhat normal. And we had that too when we first went into working internationally. I just remember we lived in a place and we were there for like a week or two and we had to like drive like an hour to a mall because we just needed something that seemed familiar, and that seemed to be the same thing here. And so, yeah, finding those things. So bringing things that feel like home, bringing things that are familiar, things that taste familiar, to help that transition period of new normal and getting used to new tastes, new smells, all of that. I brought some essential oils, and that's been nice to have some things that just smell familiar. They do have Starbucks here and they have McDonald's here. And so you can grab something familiar like that. Now, like they have Wendy's, they have a lot of like fast food, everything but Chick-fil-A. And so KFC, Taco Bell, Wendy's, McDonald's, and then they have Jollibee everywhere, which is their like form of McDonald's, which we have not tried yet. But there are things that you can find. It's just hard when you don't have transportation. I was told you could walk to like the nearest like shopping area here, and it's about 25 minutes. But again, that's a lot harder when you have kids here 14, 12, 8, and not even 2. And then in the heat to spend an hour just walking back and forth. And so instead, grabbing a trike. But again, you have to plan it. Yeah, so that's a little bit about the first couple weeks of just transition and getting used to everything. And week 3, we just finished week 3. It's starting to feel like we're picking up on things. We're not waking up in the middle of the night, like startled by where are we? So things are starting to feel more normal, more familiar. 3 weeks of school, 3 weeks of clinic, 3 weeks of trying to navigate laundry, for instance. Laundry's different. So we don't have laundry here. So we have to go take our laundry. So there's a place not too far down the street, and then another place down the street and around the corner. And you take your laundry like in a suitcase or something, and they dump it into a basket and they weigh it and you pay via weight. And then the one that's farther away, they actually count every single item and tell you exactly how many items of clothing that you have, every sock, everything like that. And then it normally is a 24-hour turnaround, but for us as a family of 6 here, they've been changing it to 48 hours. And things take a really long time to dry through humidity. So sometimes it's even longer if we have towels and things. And so we have to plan ahead to like, don't wait to the last minute to do all your clothes, because you have to have clothes to get you to the clean clothes. And so just knowing those things and figuring out those things is just part of living overseas. And I'm grateful that there is laundry service. But it would be nice to have my own washer and dryer where you just, you do your own thing and it's simple and you just do it and don't think too much about it. But everything here is just a little different. But it is nice that we do have that ability and I'm not hand washing. So I'm thankful for that. But yeah, planning, decision fatigue, figuring everything out one by one, and being very flexible and adding a lot more time to do every single task. So that's a little bit about just the first couple weeks, the takeaways from transition. So like and subscribe and check out our other videos from week 1, 2, and 3, our interview from our teenage daughter and her thoughts in her first week of transition. And yeah, follow us as we continue to figure out life here.